This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
It is Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie for your Thursday podcast. Cameron has won our merch pack.
Cammy, baby!
Big Cam, well done.
Big swing Cam.
We've got another podcast password that you'll hear throughout. You need to listen for it and then get involved for your merch.
Also on the podcast, guys, some dating advice. An expert has come out and said personality traits that make you attractive.
Oh, really?
I could have written it, but instead we've got a dating expert.
From studying others.
Yeah, well, getting to know myself a little bit more. And he has come out and said these are the main things you can tell and the behaviours of an attractive person. Did you know attractive people often find themselves alone at the bar? Because people are too intimidated to come up and talk to them.
That's
why no one comes
I
to
didn't
talk
know
to
you
me.
were so attractive
That's
when you
what it
go
is.
out all the time.
I'm there for hours.
Hot stuff. Don't
Really
go near that
strange.
guy.
You'll hear
He's so hot.
Okay. You'll hear all the other tips on the podcast.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Whew. Take a
Are
deep
you
breath.
having a moment? I'm having a moment.
I know. Are you okay? There was a
just
lot of chit-chat during that
the
song.
There's a lot of impersonations of me getting around in the
I
studio.
think everyone was making fun of you, and usually you can recover quite well, but I
not
think
today,
you might be
sir.
hurt.
Yeah, I'm cut.
But you know what? You have brought joy to the other three members of the
As long
team
as your
because
guys are having fun.
they are in fits of laughter.
Yeah, a group activity that all but one can enjoy. Bullying.
Okay, let's talk about marriage, guys.
Yes, I'm into it.
And the secret to keeping it happy. We're going to talk about a couple who are about to celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary.
Good effort.
That's
So
amazing, isn't
they
it?
know
Yeah.
something about being happy and keeping a marriage together, unless they're miserable. But it doesn't seem so because what's her name? Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
Sonia Heath. They're from the US. This is a quote from her, so I'm guessing she's very happy. It is such a blessing. He is my safe space. This is her talking about her husband of 30 years, Al.
Yep.
We've done so much more in life together than we would have apart. We laugh so much. It's fun being goofy together.
I see, that's
goofy.
great.
That's awesome.
Obviously,
so 30
they've-
years in.
What about the dark times, though, as well? I mean, you can't go 30 years without the old roller coaster going up and down.
That's
Kate.
life, though.
Yes.
I mean, you got to expect that because that makes the good times even better.
That is the rich tapestry of a marriage. They are 3 kids
Right
in. All the kids have left home now. Yeah. But what Sonia and Al seem to think has kept their marriage spark alive is that they basically put their marriage before their kids.
Oh.
So much so that they even tell the kids that they love each other more than they love them.
Oh, this is
So they
good.
point that out.
Yeah, that is the key to their happy marriage.
Night, kids, I love you. Not as much as mum.
Not as much as Dad. They have regular date nights, which people encourage you to do. They have a trip away together each year, just the two of them.
That's
and I'm
amazing.
guessing they've done that throughout the year. Not everyone has the time or the money to be able to do that kind of thing.
I agree. BJ and I went to Vietnam last year, and we there was a moment where we thought, do we take the kids, and do we every morning when we get up early and want to go for a walk? What do you reckon the reaction's going to be?
Yeah.
It was the
God.
greatest decision we ever made not to take them.
And how did the kids feel about that, though?
I can't even remember their names, but they were a bit upset. No, they were fine.
Did you make it fun for them to stay home? They
yeah.
went to Nan and Pa?
Yeah, Nan come over and stayed with them the whole time, and they know that they can twist Nan around their little finger. They can get iPad time and they can do whatever they want.
Do you know what I find interesting? There's a lot of articles these days written about people that change in relationships. And who was it that broke up not long ago saying, that's not the person that I married. They've changed now, so we're breaking up. But I think people are going to change, and you have to accept that people change, and that's part of evolving together.
Absolutely.
You know,
Isn't
your
it?
interests now might be different to your interests in 5-10 years' time.
Well, and you're certainly not the same person you were 30 years ago. So when someone says to you, you're not the person I married, well, you would kind of hope that they're not. I mean, I guess you're hoping that who they have evolved into is more positive and well-rounded.
Do you know what's interesting too? Talking to a psychologist the other day, they were saying, and I'm experiencing this a lot at the moment, they were saying that marriages or relationships work in sort of 7-year blocks, and people change kind of every 7 years.
Is that why they call it the 7-year itch?
Maybe so. That's when it first starts. But say when you hit 14 years, you'll notice, and this is what I'm seeing, a lot of breakups at the moment. There's so many breakups going on amongst my friends and relationships with people that I know around that 14-year mark.
BJ and I are at 14.
You need to
And
batten
I've got-
down to get to
hang on,
21
Stick
then.
around, Sydney, because I've got something to tell you.
Jason, busy fingers.
If it's time for a winter trip, jump on What If, the place to go for quick Aussie getaways.
Probably somewhere in the snow for me.
For accommodation, flights and more, book on the What If app.
What If? It's Aussie for travel. People, I think, are born to coach. There are leaders out there and motivational people, and I think it's just in your blood. My old man was like that. He coached his whole life.
But was he any good?
Yeah.
Was he a good coach?
Yeah, Dad coached 4 premierships.
Oh, there you go.
At 3 different footy clubs.
Take that.
And he just loved it. Like, it was his whole life. It consumed his whole life. I remember when I was a kid, Dad used to have team meetings over at our house. So we would have, we would have 20 footballers, and Mum would cook for them.
Amazing.
And Dad would have a team meeting with them on a Friday night before a Saturday game.
How good is that? Easy chin them on, eh?
That was our whole life. Actually, Dad told me the other day, because one of my childhood memories is I remember that the footy team, the Port Noarlunga footy team, the A-grade team, brought this huge sand pit and they delivered it to our house.
What for?
And I asked Dad, why did they do that? And he said, because I had a break and they said to me, we want you to come back and coach. And he said, no, I don't want to coach anymore. I just need to have a break and spend some time with the family. And one of the sponsors of the club, BJ Walters, he had this hardware store and he said, whatever you want out of here, you can have. And Dad was just picking stuff. I'll have the sand pit. I'll have that.
I want a sand
I'll
pit.
have all this.
How
and
funny.
they all delivered it. And Dad went back and coached again.
Do you think it's his understanding of the game, or do you think the great coach, like you look at Wayne Bennett, do you think it's his interpersonal relationships and understanding of personalities?
Without a doubt, it is. It's the way that you connect with people, and I think there's an addiction that they have. And Wayne Bennett, Degree, you know as well, his press conferences, he could be quite prickly, and
Nothing.
He's not very sociable at all. But you talk to any player that he's coached, and they adore him.
The other thing, I'm reading his book, because again, he comes across so surly and so bland, is the most insightful, philosophical, considered, self-reflective book that you go, this must be the bloke that players talk about.
He didn't get into it for press conferences, did he?
No. I don't think anyone does. No.
No, but see, this is the thing. When you see his
aura
and his personality, you think, how the hell is he connecting with someone like a Cameron Munster, who's quite a basic person, but they love him. They love him.
What's Cam done
He is now.
Have
you read his book?
Well, it is, but then Cam's pissed him off now because he wanted to get him to the Dolphins.
His book's a dot to dot.
This is an Aussie rules coach, a man who just loves to coach. Now, I think this is in the Broken Hill League, but he just loves a cliche. And can I tell you that we can't show you the vision of this, but I can tell you that every one of his players are a couple of centimetres away from his face, and they're looking into his eyes.
One of the great sprays.
They are transfixed. And I just love this because there is a build-up here and some of the best cliches of all time.
Life's about grabbing that opportunity. Life's about making the most of that challenge. You create memories as you go along. We've got an opportunity to create a memory here today. We've done the work. We're ready to go. We're cherry ripe. It's our day. Together, everyone achieves more. There's no I in team. What can I do to make this team better? Make a decision. First options are always your best. Execute. Take the game on. Have courage, have confidence in your own ability and your teammates' ability. Self-belief. Trust. If it is to be, it's up to me. Come on. If it is to be, it's up to me. Lessons are learned. Trophies are earned. Let's go out there and do each other.
How good. Lessons are learned, trophies are earned.
That is...
That's a tattoo.
And this is the other one I loved as well, this one here.
Self-belief. Trust. If it is to be, it's up to me.
If it is to be, it's up to me. Awesome. Jeez, you'd run out there and kick a bag, wouldn't you?
Can we get the team together every morning and maybe just do that before we come into the studio?
Tommy, as the coach of the team, I look forward to your spray this time tomorrow.
Win Wednesday, win the week.
Sydney, Tom, you got a big
Winter
team.
is coming.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Dating coaches. One has come out and said, here are the 5 signs that you are a super attractive person.
I love this.
That you're a super attractive person.
That you're a good-looking rooster, good-looking girl, however you want to paint the picture.
But it's not all about looks, is it, being attractive?
This one is. You're dead right, Kate, because someone that might be a 5, sort of average-looking, once you get to know them, can easily be a 10 because the beauty radiates from inside and you want to get to know them more.
Well
Absolutely. Well, very well said. Not
got
very
any
well
music
said.
or anything about romance or love, Jess? Just to paint the picture here. Yeah. These are the things, the top 5 things that super attractive people experience in their life, and see if you can relate to a few of them. I know I can.
Get your pen, Fitz.
See, we ran into Elle McPherson at the airport once. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's where you just go, oh my gosh. Like, I was looking at Elle's face going, it's just, I don't know, upstairs when you are born, that's just perfection, isn't it? Why don't we put this baby together today?
Yep.
Why don't we put a perfect baby together?
It is like that, and
physically.
It's almost like it's almost like it was a Friday morning and the creator said, I'm in a great mood. Yeah. I'm about to have a good weekend. Let's see what's on the sheet first and we'll get this one right.
Who's the other model that they're talking about at the moment? The Australian model? We've met him before. Jordan. What's his name? And he's got
blonde.
He's
Jordan,
got a chiseled and he's got this chiseled jaw.
Yeah.
And you go, you were just made for the catwalk.
It depends whether that you find that
look,
attractive though, because what on paper is overly attractive can make some people feel a bit either threatened or grossed out.
Because the other thing, you see people too and you think, oh God, you were done first thing on a Monday when no one wanted to be at work. You've hit every branch falling out of the ugly tree, haven't you?
I think I was born on a Monday.
Were you?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Monday evening.
Monday evening.
Yeah.
So,
8:20.
It was a long weekend. So people wanted to be at work. This guy goes on to say, here's how you know if you're very attractive. He said that people get very territorial around you if you are their partner. So that would be like BJ getting really cautious of other people approaching you. Very territorial.
That's just called jealousy, isn't it?
Well, that can rage because if you're that good looking, well then other people might approach you, and therefore BJ is just going to keep an eye out for any wandering hands when you're to meet a woman.
Well, that's completely insecure, though, isn't it? If you have trust in a relationship, it shouldn't matter how
good-looking
attractive
they are.
somebody is. And I do agree, though. I think that even if your partner is trustworthy and they happen to be attractive, other people out there, they don't really care sometimes. If you're hanging off their arm, they're like, don't. You know what?
Yeah.
They are hot stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make eyes across the room and have one over you.
Hey, watch this, girls. I'm going to go over to him.
Yeah. And his girlfriend's there and she's going to hate it.
Yeah. I'm going to bite my lip.
That's hot.
And I'll take a swig out of my
whiskey
fruit tingle that I'm drinking here.
Lost interest immediately. See, Lisa's very protective over me.
Of course,
like she will be like, "Oh, where are you now?" And I'll go, "Innocent."
No, I think she gets a bit down that no one's keen to talk to you.
Oh, is that what it is?
She's like, "Please, for goodness sake."
She's like,
just
hey,
someone
talk to
guys.
Him. Have you met this guy?
Does anyone want to come and meet this guy? He's really lovely.
He's a real catch. You can have him if you like.
She's never said that. His second sign, he said, is quite surprising, that beautiful people may actually receive less praise when it comes to their appearance. So no one will actually comment because they consider them used to getting all those generous comments about how good looking they are. So maybe that's me. I don't get many comments about how good looking I am, and I'm starting to think now I know why.
Yeah.
Thank you, dating coach. The third point talks about how people... Hang on a minute. Third point talks about how you often don't get approached because you're too good looking, and people consider hot looking people to be out of their league.
Oh, so you don't even get someone coming up to you trying it on you?
Not at all. But if you're a good looking girl at the bar, I could imagine that. Guys would stand back and go, oh, forget about it. No way. She's after Tom Brady.
Batting above my average
There's no way I'm going for it. Fourth point goes on to say that you always catch strangers staring at you in public.
Yeah.
Well, so you get that a lot, Kate. Well, you must be your attractiveness. And
this is a very...
that's paparazzi.
It's a very awkward conversation to have.
For you?
Well, because I don't think that...
what?
I've spent my whole life thinking that people are just staring at me because it's like I'm in the zoo kind of thing. Oh, that's that girl.
Yeah.
So if anyone's ever not known who I am and they've said something nice to me, that's the only compliment I can take, because otherwise I feel like people...
But you must think,
don't look at it
too,
like that.
But it is like that.
When you see photos of yourself, you would go, "Oh, I'm attractive."
No, I'm not part of this conversation now.
You've dropped off of it.
No, I don't.
You're wheeling back from the microphone.
What time is it?
No, can I just on the looking at people? Can I say the greatest time to ever walk into a nightclub is the first time that you walk in, because what usually happens? We've done a theory on this, my mates and I.
Oh yeah.
When you're in a night, when you walk in, and you have a few drinks and you're having a conversation, Kate. You always look at the new people that come in.
Oh, fresh meat.
The fresh meat that walks into a nightclub.
Yeah.
So when that is the greatest moment, because when you walk in, you actually think that you're getting the eye from the opposite sex from everybody, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Now I'm on.
I'm on fire here.
Yeah.
I've arrived.
You go get a drink, you go, oh my gosh, I've had so many girls look at me tonight. Then half an hour later, they don't want to know who you are, because they're looking at the new fresh mates walking in.
You got to walk out and walk back in again.
So that's
in a different outfit.
They go, that guy's lost.
That's what we used to do. We used to frequent around about 28 nightclubs every Saturday night.
Just to get that feeling.
Oh my God. Did you see how many chicks were looking at us?
We've got to get out of here. It's the 28-minute mark. Go, go, go.
Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie.
Hey, that's a secret. Podcast password.
If you want to get your hands on stacks of great prizes, just head over to our Instagram stories at Fitzy Wippa Kate and enter this password. Today's password is...
Tina Turner.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I know you've been listening to this show for quite a while now, but I don't know if you remember. But
can I just jump in?
That's what I say.
For 2 seconds, Fitz. Have you got deep heat on?
Yes.
What does that smell, man?
And how good does it smell? It reminds me of the sheds.
Oh, feels good to be back in the rooms.
I've got my lower back is really sore. I'm back at yoga.
It smells magnificent.
I wasn't sure what had happened in here.
Yeah, fresh, deep heat. Tommy's got a crisp, white, sloppy Joe on.
Where are you starting today, on the half-forward flank, or where are you?
I just hope my knee doesn't give out.
Hang in there, Tiger. We'll get a
old injury that just I cannot fix.
Get a cortisone shot in it.
Kate, we're going to take you back onto the Fitzy and Wippa show to a time when Tom Ivey, our executive producer, was known as the Bin Chook.
La, 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 Tom the Bin Chook.
Do you remember that, Tom? You had to jump into the harbour.
Oh, it was so horrific.
Oh,
the
Flugtag.
Flugtag, the Birdman rally.
It was about 10 metres high.
Have you got another one in there, Jess?
Tom is the Bin Chook with that homeless look. He's a massive scam and he'll eat all your scraps.
You know, a lot of people in Sydney got around you for that. That was an amazing effort.
It's November 2018, guys.
And I don't think people really understand. You're a scrappy kind of guy, but quite often you'll just pick your way through little bits of food around the area, here in the office, off the snacks shelf, and maybe even out of the bin. And therefore, you were the bin chook.
Is that where it comes from?
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it was just like,
looks homeless,
foraging for content all the time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
the content muncher.
Yeah, the big content muncher.
Actually, Jess, have you got the audio of Tommy jumping off into the water and everyone was chanting the Bin Chook? That was an amazing moment. There would have been around about 5,000 people there.
Wow. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. It means so much.
Amazing. We're not doing it again, are we?
Fine line between a chant, encouragement, and bullying.
Yeah. You're worth more money, Tommy.
Well, Tommy, you won't be happy with this because we heard about this a while ago, but he's just gone to court. But the alleged bird napper in Maroubra, who tied up a bin chook by its feet, attempted to cook it and try to shove it in a trolley because he said birds annoy him, has been released on bail subject to a very specific set of rules.
Oh, my God. Was this one of your cousins, Tommy?
No, I don't know this story. I don't know this guy.
So his lawyer said in his mind he was under attack. The birds were following him and annoying him, and he lashed out and took his frustrations out on the bird.
Well, that's awful. That's like that guy. Did you ever see the video of someone punching the kookaburra on the balcony?
No.
I think, was that last year or the year? before. I mean,
punches a kookaburra. A kangaroo's one thing; it'll kill your dog.
Well, it has probably punched you first, a kangaroo. But what's a kookaburra doing? Laughing at you, making fun.
Stop laughing at me, or I'll punch you.
Some people.
Do you know what? Centennial Park have got a huge issue, and the rangers at the park continue to do laps, not to see where picnics are happening. It's because people will come down, grab a goose, grab a duck, and they'll take it off and cook it up.
No,
They're
won't.
getting stuffed into plastic bags and they're taken from the area.
That's crazy.
Known fact.
It's crazy. But this guy is very similar to you, Tom, and I'm not saying that you're cruel to animals at all, but he has now been ordered to keep away from all birds.
But how can you do that? Because if what he's saying is true, birds follow him, and bin birds can be a bit like that.
Yes.
You're just getting in the car in the morning, driving out of your driveway, or pulling up at a set of lights, and there they are.
Yeah, but I like that. You know, if a bird is taken to you and you have this special little moment where they're following you all the time, that's a beautiful moment. You don't punch a kookaburra.
No, I agree. I'm a bird watcher.
Lover. Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, you love the Indian minor bird, don't you?
Well, they're not my favourite.
Okay, sure. I mean, there's not a lot of meat on the bin chook, is there?
No.
On the bin chicken?
You can eat... I think some countries do eat the ibis, though.
What would they taste like? Is it chicken, or is it like pigeon? Like a bit more coloured,
like a
coloured
quail?
meat.
Quail?
So Tommy has to stay away from all birds. I mean, that was in place at Schoolies Week, Tommy.
Stay away from the birds.
Oh, my God.
They're following me. No, they're not, mate.
No, they're not. Sorry, honey.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I'm fascinated by this show. Alone. All episodes, if you haven't seen it, SBS On Demand. It's extraordinary. 10 brave Australians went to remote Tasmania. The simple challenge: who can ever last the longest alone wins $250,000.
It's crazy.
Simple?
Very simple. All by yourself. Keeping warm, feeding, you name it, you're alone.
Yeah, not going mad.
The woman who has won this, I want to play this little bit of audio because she didn't realise, you never know, too, Kate, on this show, how many people are left. Because if someone puts a hand up and says, I'm out of here, well, then you're out, but you don't know if you're the last one remaining. Here was the moment Gina found out that she had won alone.
It's more that this place is giving me a... No way! What the
Yeah.
Holy oh my God! You won, Gina, you won. Oh my God.
Yeah. What is it now? Like day 67? Yeah.
67 days. Gina Chick, congratulations. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness, what a moment.
Yeah. So, Gina, okay, let's go back to the start. What's the most crucial thing that you need when you are alone and you're out in the wilderness? What's the number one thing you need straight away?
Resilience. Yeah.
But the one thing, too, when you watch a lot of shows like Bear Grylls, you kind of think to yourself, what would I be like in that situation? But no one ever tests it. No one ever does that.
No. And it's like I've been asked a few times, like, what advice would you give someone who wants to go on a show like this? And I'm like, do it. Yeah. It's very easy to be an armchair critic. I mean, we all are when we watch Alone. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Pull the fish out of the water. Like, no, don't build your shelter like that. Oh, God. You know, stuff like we all do it. Like, I certainly do it as well. And then get out there and go, oh, God, it's not quite that simple. And so we only find out how we are in these situations by doing them. And unless you've been out and slept in the dirt next to a fire, tried to light a fire, starved for a bit, you don't have a clue how you're going to be once you get out there. And like as I think everyone who's on the show finds out, it's a very different situation when you live it.
Yeah. Had you had any of experience of that before? Had you slept rough? Are you into camping? Are you what made you think you could give this a crack?
I spent a lot of time in the bush. So in my pre-COVID life, I would spend 4 months of the year in the Australian wilderness, sleeping next to a fire, taking people into wilderness experiences, rites of passage, running rewilding camps, helping people be alone in the wild, like helping them to be at home in the wild. And but then I'd spend 4 months of the year in the Northern Hemisphere running 5 Rhythms dance retreats and like internal process and somatic processing and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like a bush stuff. You're doing bush stuffs or something like that?
Yeah, I'm doing like conscious bush stuffs.
Oh, got to be careful with your wording. Do you know what's interesting too is for anybody that hasn't seen the show, to spell it out, is that you're filming yourself. So there's no TV crews. You're literally in the wilderness by yourself. Gina, at one stage, let's talk about eating food, because that would be the biggest challenge for me, trying to curb those hunger pains. You managed to find a 20-kilo beast that you could feed on. Talk us through what happened.
Yeah, well, I kind of accidentally got it. I went out and I had a pee in the night, and after I would have a pee, I'd go and sit on this particular log and just commune with the area, because my bed was so uncomfortable. It was like sleeping on a bed of rocks, and I reckon I slept maybe 3 hours a night. I'd sleep for like 15 minutes, and because I was in a possum coat, I didn't have a sleeping bag. No. I had this possum coat, and I'd have to like squish myself into it so my feet were in the hood, so they couldn't move, and then like do up all the buttons and pretty much sew myself into the top of it so that I'd retain
And
heat.
did you make that yourself?
I did. Yeah,
you made your own sleeping bag?
Yeah, out of like 40, possum pelts. And
so you killed the possums?
No, I wish. No, I bought the possums. I got them from Tassie, from a mob in Tassie. They had the best possum pelts. So I made this sleeping bag, and it was a lot to get into it every night. And so I'd be lying there with like, finally, okay, now I can get comfy. And then I was like, got to do what? Bugger, I need to do it. Anyway, so get myself out of the possum coat, and then go and sit out there and have a pee, and then so I was just sitting afterwards going, I got to go back in and put in the possum coat. Oh God! And all of a sudden, I just felt this presence next to me, and I had been like really calling out for food. Yeah. If you've watched the show, you'll see that my approach to being in wild nature is quite different to most people. Like I can. It's very hippie, but I kind of feel like I was communicating with the intelligence of the land, or connecting with country on a much deeper level than most of us, or even me prior.
So what was there?
Oh my God, everything.
No, what did you kill? What did you find?
What did I kill?
Yeah, the 20-kilo
wallaby.
beast. A wallaby, right.
It was a wallaby, yeah. So it just kind of came next to me. And my body, the intelligence of my body, leapt on it before I even knew what was going on. Wow. It was like the animal that I was knew what it was, felt it, and just basically fell on it. And then I got a rock, and it was
what else was food for you? What else did you get? Did you go fishing? Did you?
Yes, I went fishing. I caught a whole bunch of trout. I took a block of salt as one of my items with fishing hooks and fishing lines, which was one of my items.
Right, okay. Yes.
So you get a certain amount, but it was so snaggy and wild, and oh my God, it was the most gnarly fishing ground.
You'd eat the fish raw?
Oh no, I would cook them with salt in their own fat. It was fabulous, but not as much as the eels. The eels were amazing, like frying up eels in their and there's so much fat in them. They would deep fry themselves, and it would be like a little chicken burger. I was like, oh my God, that's the best.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You sounds so wonderful.
The only one to put on weight in this show.
Yeah. Well, I had a lot of food. I caught 6 eels in the last week before I got pulled out. I was kind of bummed when they pulled me out. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I'm having a good time.
I got heaps of food. I'm just figuring this out. Like, can we just can we stay for the summer?
Yeah. And what now? Because there was a big money prize behind this, wasn't there?
Yes. But because I've had this secret now for 9 months, I haven't been able to tell anyone anything. And so I kind of buried the secret in myself, and I just haven't even thought about the money, because that doesn't come in until the whole thing's over.
I feel like $250,000 money doesn't mean a whole deal to you.
No.
So what is your thoughts on the prize money?
Oh, well, it's great. I mean, hello, it's 250 grand.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So yeah, I'm very I feel very touched, and I'm very grateful for it.
But you didn't give it back, did you?
No.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I'm just going to sit and let the dust settle and see what happens.
Yeah, good on you. Good
like,
idea.
I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. I'm a singer-songwriter. I recorded my album in lockdown, and I'm going to release that later on in the year. And I'm a writer, and I'm sort of like having a chat about some books coming up. Like, that's the sort of stuff that lights me up. And also taking people out into the wild and just giving them the taste of like getting away from this really logical approach to being in the wild and getting into an instinctive kind of like remembering of the wisdom of our hunter-gatherer ancestors, which we all have. We've all got it. Yeah. And in my experience, it's really quite surprising how quickly we remember when we do get out in the bush.
Did the wallaby taste good?
It was so good. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The
bit
organ
of rock wallaby, eh?
Yeah, the organ stew was amazing.
Organ stew.
Oh no, thank you. Awful.
We'll bring it in.
Awful.
We've got some more for you to try.
Here we go.
Soup day, Kate.
You are a fascinating woman. This is an amazing event. 67 days on your own. Did you get crook? What was the lowest moment in those 67 days?
Well, there was a moment, I think, just 3 days in where I realised that it was my daughter's birthday, and my daughter passed away almost 10 years ago when she was 3.
Sorry.
Yeah. I've pretty much metabolised that pretty well, so I can talk about it. It's fine. But realising that it was her birthday when I was out there, and I didn't know, because we didn't know when we were going to get chucked out there. It was just like, oh, it's going to be out there. That's going to be interesting.
Extraordinary.
And so I had this night when I was like, right, it's her birthday, and I got up and I made a fire and I sang songs to her, and I had this massive big like grief storm on camera. I was like, am I going to film this? Yes, I am. Yeah. And so, I put that up, and it was actually beautiful because in the morning I just had so much gratitude, and I felt like she was with me the whole time. I was like, oh my God, she'd be dancing around in the puddles. Oh my God, because I got so many worms. That was the other thing.
You got worms?
No, I didn't get worms.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Combantrin.
I found worms.
No, there was no combantrin out there. It wasn't a combantrin tree. But that was what I basically relied on, because everything ate the worms. Like everything eats the worms. So if you've got worms, not those worms. If you've got worms, you can get food. So I was like digging up all these worms, and I was thinking, oh my God, Blaze would make a worm farm out of these things. I'd be having to basically, she'd be giving them names and making them her pets. And
that's incredible. And I guess grief is a pretty incredible thing that can hang around for a long time. I would imagine that being out there and it just being you and the wilderness, and most likely her, you wouldn't normally have that opportunity in the busyness of life. Feelings get drowned out, don't they, when you're living life here?
Yeah, absolutely. And the part about being in the wilderness in a receptive state is we get into a state of being rather than doing. And our whole culture is designed to distract us from our feelings. Like everything that we can do, have a coffee, get online, go have a shag, have a durry, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, not you, obviously.
Oh, shag and a durry. Well, don't you? You have the shag and then the durry.
Oh, Gina, I love you.
Gina, unbelievable.
You're the best.
67 days, and all episodes of Alone Australia now streaming on SBS On Demand. You can watch Alone Australia, the reunion, 7:30 on SBS tonight. Gina Chick, congratulations, and thank you very much for coming.
Oh, you're incredible.
Thank you so much.
Gina.
It's been an absolute hoot.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We like the Life Improver. How good's the Life Improver? Oh yeah, the Life Improver. Your life improver.
Get ahead of getting ahead with InvestSmart's Fund Later. Understand the benefits and risks at fundlater.com.au. AFSL 226435.
Yeah, thank you to our friends at InvestSmart. We've got $500 cash for the best caller this morning. Leandri, is it Leandri from Rouse Hill?
Leandre.
Like that one.
Special.
Leandre, give us a life hack to improve our lives.
Yeah, so for the parents who struggle with their kids brushing their teeth.
That's me.
There's a cheeky one-liner you could give them that, if they're not going to brush their teeth could fall out.
Yep.
And then when they get to the age where their teeth actually start falling out, you bring it back and say, well, I told you that if you're not brushing your teeth, they will be falling out.
The only thing that undoes that, Leandre, is... did I get that right?
Yep.
Leandre? is that when the teeth fall out, they're excited because they know the tooth fairy is coming, and that kind of
true.
Yeah, but you didn't clean your teeth properly. That's why they're falling out.
Well,
now you're going to get a new tooth, but this is the last time you get that tooth. If you don't clean it properly, it's out again.
It'll fall out again, and I'll get more money, will I?
No.
Leandre, thank you.
Oh, you're looking at the negatives, mate.
Trying.
Isaac's 12 years of age from North Ryde. Good morning, Isaac. You there, Isaac?
Yeah.
How are you?
My life hack is so if you instead of slicing the mango up, you can use a cup to scoop out all the mango out of it.
Oh, right.
I use a cup. I get what you mean. Almost shaped similar to the mango, and then scoop with the cup.
So it comes out in one piece, I would imagine. It'd need to be a smallish kid's plastic cup.
You've got the huge pip in the middle.
Well, you've cut the bits off first. You've cut the sides off first, and then you scoop with the cup, I would assume.
And then you get to suck the seed if you feel like it.
It's a bit disappointing.
Don't
Isaac,
be... Isaac, great call, buddy. My favourite so far.
Angela in Liverpool. Life hack, Ange.
My life hack is when you're doing a barbecue, if you use a muffin tin and you can put all your sauce and condiments in the muffin tin, so you have plenty of room on the table for all the other food.
The muffin man.
We've spoken about this.
The muffin tin.
I'm not. You can't get me over the line with the muffin tin
You're
thing.
not
I'm sorry.
happy with the presentation and the table.
Does it feel a bit manufactured? Just squirting sauce in,
Well, look,
mustard,
it does
jam.
the job, and I guess if it's a kid's party, can you stop doing that? I get it, less washing up, but I like the ramekins.
What are ramekins?
Tommy's nodding.
Little small little sauces.
They're called ramingtons.
Yeah,
ramekins.
Not lamingtons.
No, not lamingtons.
Wow, learn something every day.
Nathan in West Ryde. Life hack for us, Nath.
Yeah, g'day, bud. I'm a tradie, and if you're hungover and you come into work, just take a nap at the bottom of the ladder, and your boss will think you've fallen off unconscious, and you won't get in trouble. You go home.
So then, when your boss...
How did Nath get through?
Molly Meldrum tried that. Nath, when you're lying at the bottom and the boss wakes you up, do you continue with it and say, oh, man, I fell. I think I'm okay?
Yeah, you've got to roll around, act a bit groggy. That groggy's still got a bit in you.
What about when he can smell the whiskey on you?
You just pull out your little flask and offer him a bit.
You've got all the answers.
You've got it worked out,
The
Nath.
unfortunate thing is Nath is in the running for 10k a day, mate.
The unfortunate thing is he plans to drive home after that.
I hope he wins.
Abby in Tamworth, give us a life hack, Ab.
Hey guys, so if you forget your hire chair or you go to someone's house and you don't have a hire chair, you just slip like a t-shirt over the back of the seat and then slip the child into the t-shirt and put their arms out the armhole and it just holds them to the chair so you can carry on.
That's not bad.
It's not bad if you haven't got any hockey straps.
We could do that with a few employees here at Nova, Tom.
I bet you could.
Keep them at their desk.
Yes.
You're not
stand-up
leaving at
desk.
9:30.
Throw a bib over Wippa at his stand-up desk.
You know what? Not a great lineup of calls. There was a little bit of gold sprinkled amongst it, but gee, you've got to search hard to find those diamonds. There's a lot of broken glass.
You need $500 there. $500 to one of those listeners.
What do you want to do?
Do you know
Come
what?
on, Kate.
I think it was all in the delivery. It wasn't unique, but I think Isaac should get $500.
Isaac, $500.
Mango in the cup. You there, Isaac?
Oh my God, thank you.
No, are you with your mates at school, Isaac, are you?
Thank you.
No worries,
I've
mate.
been calling every day trying to be on the radio so I can win that money.
Oh, well done, mate.
What are you going to do with $500?
What are you going to do with $500, Isaac? No, he's
gone to the canteen. He's fine, his mates, I suppose.
I don't know. Well, my family's about to get a Tesla. My family's about to get a Tesla.
Actually, Isaac, I'll have that $500 back, thanks.
Thanks, mate. Just to park next to the Ferrari, yeah?
In the running for 10k a day in May.
Well, we hope you win that so you can get a boat too.
Mum and Dad seem to be doing all right. You're all in the running for Nova's 10k a day in May.
We like the Life Improver. How good's the Life Improver? Oh yeah, the Life Improver. Your life, improve it!
Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.